As society matures, we come to understand that the environment is not infinite. We accept the need to ensure a reasonable and rational use of natural resources. Mankind's use of mires and peatlands, the most widespread type of wetland in the world, is no exception. Today, some 20% of the world's peatland area has been impacted by human activities to such an extent that peat accumulation has stopped and peat degradation is taking place. The remaining 80% is still in largely natural state. Of course, there have been good and sound reasons for much of this development. As populations expanded in the past, the pressure to grow enough food led to the drainage and conversion of many peatland areas to agriculture. Inevitably, this type of change had a terminal impact on the natural ecosystems of the peatlands, but our forefathers had to eat. For centuries, peat has been cut for burning, and this continues today in some countries where electricity is generated from peat. Man's increasing demand for timber has also resulted in the loss of considerable areas of pristine peatland, which has been drained and planted with new forests. Human beings have always been in close contact with wetlands and peatlands. Bodies in bogs, tools, ornaments, weapons, and other archaeological remains discovered in peat testify to the long and intense relationship between people and mires. Mires and peatlands can also have recreational value. Where facilities are available, large numbers of people visit these open, often softly undulating landscapes, with their boundless skies and mirror-like water surfaces. Other mires are used for low-intensity recreation by amateur hunters, anglers, people gathering berries and mushrooms, and hikers, skiers and boaters, and by anyone looking for wilderness conditions, quietness and remoteness. In those areas of Northern Europe where forests are used intensively, large, untouched mires are the last remnants of untouched nature and wilderness. The awesome beauty of mires and peatlands has inspired artists since Albrecht Dürer. The openness, patterns and symmetry of many peatland landscapes are aesthetically fascinating, their blaze of colour varying from pastel and melancholic to deep greens and bright reds, and the delicate symmetry of specialised groups of microorganisms. In former times, mires were seen as mysterious, and they played an important role in religion and spirituality. This is illustrated by the sacrifices in peatlands that took place from the Neolithic Age to the Middle Ages. Mires provide unique forms of information. They record their own history and that of their surroundings in systematic layers, making them particularly suited to the reconstruction of long-term human climatic and environmental history. Of course, by now, mankind has developed the science and technology to utilize natural resources such as peatlands on a much greater scale than in the past. For the sake of our environment and our future, it is vital that this enhanced capacity to exploit is tempered with wisdom. Recognizing this need, the International Peat Society and the International Mire Conservation Group launched a 5-year project to define principles of wise use for peatlands. The result of this collaboration of peatland scientists and industry was published as a book, The Wise Use of Mires and Peatlands, in November 2002. Wise use can be defined as those uses of peatlands for which reasonable people now and in the future will not attribute blame. This crystallizes the fundamental principles behind the book. Wise use does not mean forbidding all use of peatlands. Wise use accepts that peatlands will be utilized. It sets out a rational approach to ensuring that a sufficient area remains to carry out vital natural resource functions, whilst also satisfying the essential requirements of people now and in the future. With assessment and reasoning, decision makers are able to develop mechanisms that can balance conflicting demands placed on the global heritage of peatlands, ensuring their continued survival to meet the needs of mankind. Firstly, we must improve our knowledge of the role of peatlands in influencing global climate, ecology, and the local and national economy. Secondly, we must enhance society's awareness and understanding of these important roles. And thirdly, we must develop integrated planning strategies involving all stakeholders to guarantee a future in which these important areas are managed rationally and wisely.